Our score has completely gone silent again, and we hear a little in the corn, and he whirls around with a gasp. This is one of those moments that literally has been seared into my brain. Graham holds his arm in front of his face as he's walking through the leaves to block it from smacking him in the forehead. And then he slowly steps out into one of the big crop circle areas. And we lift the camera high above to look down at him with his one beam of light from his flashlight. And he calls out that he's not going to report this to the news or TV or anybody. You're wasting your time here. You're not going to get famous. And then we close in on his face and he swallows hard. He is scared. The blue, dark tone of this scene is so ominous. It's so unbelievably quiet. No crickets, no birds, nothing but us and the field. He backs his way into the corn, turns, and the only sound we hear is his arms pushing the corn stalks out of the way as he gets into one of those long pathways. He looks to the left with the flashlight, nothing. And then our camera is behind him, looking over his shoulder as he turns a little bit with his chin to the right. And we hear that same little bubble popping sound that the aliens make. Sorry, it's aliens. It's right there, you guys. He jumps away from the sound, drops his flashlight. It goes black. We stare hard at the corn stalks. It's so dark. It's so ominous. Just the tops of the corn stalks are barely moving in the breeze. Just the hushing sound of the leaves is all we hear. He turns, kneels down, grabs the flashlight, pops against the side with his fist to turn it back on, and the light illuminates a pale blue, skinny leg and foot pulling out of the pathway and into the cornfield. He jumps up and runs back through the cornfield, and we get that same shaky camera is his point of view. It kind of like tremors a little bit with his fear. And we go back into the farmhouse. In the kitchen, Bo and Morgan are washing the dishes and playing with the soap and water. And Meryl is sitting in the living room reading a pamphlet from the military. Graham comes back into the kitchen. He's walking stiffly. He's barely holding onto this chunky flashlight. He sets it on the kitchen table. And just his movement and intensity makes everyone turn around and look at him. He slowly sits down in one of the kitchen chairs, falls back into it, swallows hard, and barely says, "Okay, let's turn the TV back on."